The signal from the dead world. The Empire's scout ship, Silent Wing, floated in orbit around a gray, silent planet. Its crew had been searching for lost systems, forgotten ruins from the days before the Empire ruled the stars. This world was tagged on old maps as Earth. No one had heard that name in thousands of years. Captain Reland stood at the main deck, eyes locked on the rotating blue and white sphere below. "Looks dead," he muttered. "Scans show no life, no power." "Nothing," the technician replied, "just dust and ice, but there's something under the surface." "Something?" Reland asked. The crew leaned in as strange readings flickered on their screens. A massive structure was buried deep beneath Earth's crust, circular, cold, and silent. It stretched, for miles, wrapping around the core. At first they thought it was a natural formation, but then they found the markings, symbols etched in metal, not rock. Symbols that pulsed faintly with ancient energy. Earth was not just a dead world. It was hiding something. "Could it be an old city?" asked one crew member. "No," Reland said slowly, his voice tense. "It's too big. It covers the whole planet. Almost like a shell," the technician whispered. The crew grew quiet. Reland gave the order. "Send a probe. We're going." And the small drone launched toward the surface. It flew through the clouds, scanned the air, then dove into an open shaft found in a ruined mountain. It spiraled down, deeper and deeper into the crust of the planet. And then it stopped. In front of it stood a massive chamber, miles wide. In the center, a dark sphere floated above a metallic platform. Runes covered the walls. They looked like language, but no one could read them. "Power readings?" Reland asked. The technician frowned. "Dead. Like everything else." But the moment the drone moved closer, a pulse of blue light surged through the walls. Energy flared. The readings spiked. The sphere came to life, spinning faster, glowing brighter, and then Earth trembled. "All engines full. Pull us out of orbit," Reland shouted. The ship shook as a deep hum rose from the planet below. It was not a city. It was not a ruin. It was a machine, and it was waking up. The planet that breathed. The Silent Wing pulled back, engines roaring as it climbed out of Earth's gravity. The blue planet below was no longer still. Flashes of light blinked across its surface. Storms gathered, out of nowhere. Rings of metal slowly rotated beneath the clouds, hidden no more. Captain Reland gripped the rail tightly. "That thing, it's alive." The technician's voice cracked. "Sir, there's movement on the surface. Massive panels are opening. Something is shifting, like armor." On the main screen, the clouds parted over one of the continents. Giant structures rose from the ground, towers shaped like claws, glowing with energy. Then came the sound. A low hum, deep and cold, echoed through. Their systems, it wasn't just radio noise. It was structured, rhythmic, like a message. "Translate it," Reland ordered. The system struggled. The language was old. Very old. It didn't match any known database. And then, the computer managed a few broken words. "Guardian. Ready. Threat detected. Fire control active." Reland's stomach sank. "We triggered a defense system." The technician stared in shock. "Sir, this isn't a machine made by the Empire, or even by any known race. This planet was built as a weapon." The crew watched as the planet shifted. Giant lines ran across the surface like veins. Blue energy traveled through them, lighting up oceans and land. Then, from orbit, they saw it clearly. Earth was not just a planet. It was a warship, not a ship parked on the planet. The planet itself was the ship. "Contact High Command," Reland shouted. "This changes everything." But their message was blocked. A pulse from Earth jammed their communication. Another signal followed, this time stronger. Their lights flickered, screens blinked. The ship's systems were being scanned. Then came the voice. It spoke in old Galactic standard, rusted, slow, but powerful. Unauthorized presence detected. Galactic threat protocol active. Defense cycle resuming, Relin whispered. We've woken something that wasn't meant to wake up. One of the younger crew members turned pale. Sir, it's targeting us. The warship's shell shifted again. A massive cannon, larger than any known station, rose from Earth's North Pole. Energy built around it, humming like the breath of a god. They only had seconds. Evasive maneuvers, Raylan screamed. Silent wings shot away from the planet just as the cannon fired. A beam of white light missed them by inches. The space around them boiled. The captain clenched his jaw. Get us out of this system, now! As they jumped into faster than light. Travel. The crew sat in silence. Behind them, Earth glowed like a sun, its engines waking, its weapons ready. The Empire thought they had found a relic, but they had found something else. They had found a warning. The forgotten protocol, the silent. Wing jumped into hyperspace, streaking away from Earth at maximum speed. Inside the ship, no one spoke. The crew's hands trembled, their faces were pale. Captain Relin finally broke the silence. We need to report this. If the Empire thinks Earth is empty, they'll send more ships. The technician turned. And if they get too close, Earth will destroy them all. Relin nodded. This isn't just about survival. That planet was made to fight something. We need to know what. Back on Earth, the ancient systems continued to wake. Deep below the surface, in forgotten chambers of black metal, gears spun. Lights flickered. Voices, old and digital, whispered, in cold silence. Threat level, galactic. Reaction status, standby. Inside one control room, a human form floated in a pod. Skin pale. Body covered in armor-like material. Eyes closed for thousands of years. But now, fingers twitched. The ship had not been abandoned. It had only been sleeping. Meanwhile, aboard the silent wing, the crew began scanning old data. Records from ancient times. Maps erased by the Empire. They found stories, legends, of a human race that vanished before the first star empires rose. A race that had fought something called the Voidborn. The records were few, and most were corrupted. But the messages were clear. Earth had not fallen. It had hidden, transformed itself into a last weapon, wrapped in layers of silence and stone. And now the Empire had disturbed it. The captain looked at the map. Earth wasn't meant to be found. The technician nodded. And it didn't wake because of us. Relin frowned. What do you mean? She pointed to the readings. It's not targeting us anymore. The weapon systems are aiming outward, toward deep space, toward something else. The bridge went quiet again. Another crew member whispered. So Earth wasn't waking up to destroy. Sorry to Relin finished the sentence. It was waking up to protect us. Far from Earth, on the edge of the galaxy, space twisted. A dark storm boiled beyond the stars. Shadows moved, without form, without light. The Voidborn had returned, and Earth knew it. The awakening of Commander Hale beneath Earth's crust, where molten rock once flowed, smooth metal tunnels stretched like arteries. In the deepest chamber, the stasis pod finally opened. Cold mist hissed out. The figure inside stepped forward, slow and steady. He looked human, but his body was more than flesh. His arms were lined with alloy. His chest glowed faintly with power. His eyes, bright silver, snapped open as system data filled his mind. Name, Commander Hale. Rank, Guardian General. Status, activated. A voice echoed in the chamber. Alert. Outer sensors report Voidborn energy signature. Command required. Commander Hale stepped onto the platform. A memory returned. Flashes of war, of Earth's cities burning, of black skies filled with monsters. The war had ended, but Earth had not won. Instead, it had sealed itself away. Run full diagnostics, Hale ordered. His voice was calm, but cold lights lit up. Holograms of Earth systems flickered around him, reactor cores online, defense layers rotating, planetary cannons warming, millions of drone units in hibernation. All systems at 68% capacity, the AI reported. Hale frowned. That will have to do. He looked up. How long have I slept? The AI replied, 6,000 standard years. Hale inhaled slowly. And the Empire? Do they still exist? Confirmed. A scout ship entered orbit. No hostile action detected. Hale's gaze hardened. And the Voidborn? Void energy increasing beyond the galactic rim. That was enough. Hale reached toward the command panel and touched a symbol long forgotten. Above the planet, a massive signal tower rose. It sent a burst. Across the stars, a warning, encrypted in ancient human code. The Guardian is awake. Earth stands ready. Do not interfere. Back aboard the Silent Wing, alarms rang. We're receiving something, the technician said. But it's in an old human code, not used in any living database. Relan watched as the strange message displayed across the screen. Translate. Slowly, the computer decoded the final line. This is your only warning. The captain stared out into the void. Earth's not just waking up, it's declaring war. The Empire's choice. The message from Earth spread fast. It reached the nearest Empire station in just hours despite the signal's ancient coding. The station's commander, Joran, replayed it over and over again. A planet. Warning us? He scoffed, but the science officers weren't laughing. This signal came from the planet itself, one officer said. It's not a relay. Earth is alive. It's built with weapons beyond anything we've seen. The energy readings suggest that even our fleet wouldn't survive a direct shot. Joran dismissed the warnings. One planet can't stand against the Empire. But others weren't so sure. Across the Empire, whispers began to spread. Some remembered legends, old stories about the lost human homeworld, about a final weapon built during the first collapse. A weapon meant to hold back the end of all things. And now, it had woken up. Back on Earth, Commander Hale stood inside the central chamber of the warship. Holographic star maps floated around him. The location of the Voidborn was marked by a growing storm on the edge of the galaxy. He knew what had to be done. Activate Global Defense Ring, he ordered. Start drone deployment. Prepare deep space array for hyperjump. The AI responded, confirming. Earth core engines warming. Planetary shift in progress. Around the world, massive structures rose from oceans and mountains. The planet's crust began to pulse with motion. Engines hidden for millennia started to glow. Earth wasn't just going to defend, it was preparing to move. Yes, the planet itself could fly. Meanwhile, in deep space, the Voidborn spread. Invisible. To most sensors, they devoured light and bent gravity. Where they moved, stars flickered and died. They had sensed the awakening, and they were coming. On the Silent Wing, Relan sat quietly. He stared at Earth through the ship's rear screen, now a glowing orb wrapped in artificial rings and spinning weapons. Sir, the technician said. High Command says to stay clear. Earth is now a no-contact zone. Relan nodded. They're afraid. She looked at him. Should we be? He didn't answer, because deep inside he already knew. Earth wasn't just a weapon, it was the last hope. Earth breaks. Orbit deep rumbles shook the Earth's crust as ancient engines buried for thousands of years roared to life. The ground cracked, not with destruction, but with purpose. Mountains moved. Oceans split in thin lines as armored plating emerged from beneath. The entire planet was shifting. Inside the command chamber, Commander Hale stood on the raised core platform, surrounded by glowing panels and silent sentinels. Status, he said. The AI responded in a calm voice. Core drive at 93%. Break from orbit in T-minus 20 minutes. Star path charted. Destination, Outer Rim Breach Zone. Above Earth, The stars shimmered as the planet's upper atmosphere peeled back in layers, revealing massive engine vents. They looked like canyons of light carved into the planet itself. The rotation of the planet began to change, no longer moving naturally but aligning to a flight vector. Commander Hale watched the void-born storm on the screen. It had grown. Black and red swirls consumed systems at the edge of the galaxy. Whole stars blinked out, vanishing behind the storm like drops into a bottomless pit. Hale clenched his fists. If they reach the inner sectors, all life falls. He looked to the display of Earth. The surface was no longer blue and green. It glowed, with deep silver and radiant blue lines. Shield layers were locking into place. Massive cannon bays opened across the equator, each capable of tearing a battleship in two. This was what Earth was built for. This was humanity's last design. In deep space, far from Earth, the Empire's fleets were gathering. Commanders debated. Some wanted to attack Earth before it became a threat. Others said to wait, to watch. Then they saw the impossible. Earth lifted. The crust did not crack. The oceans did not boil. Instead, the entire planet, calm, controlled, rose from its orbit and began to move. Slow at first, then faster. Gravitational shock waves rippled through nearby space. Satellites were flung away. Moons tumbled. But Earth flew true, wrapped in shields, burning with power. On board the Silent Wing, Captain Raylan stared in silent awe. A planet, flying like a ship. His crew watched as Earth moved faster than any warship, cutting across space with a long, glowing trail behind it. "Where is it going?" someone whispered. Raylan answered quietly, "To fight what we can't." Back in the command chamber, Commander Hale stood tall. "This is not just a fight," he said. "This is a return." He looked out through the image window at the oncoming. Blackstorm. Let them come. The war for the Stars Earth, once quiet and forgotten, now blazed through space like a starborn titan. Its engines howled as it cut across the void, faster than light chasing the storm that devoured systems. Inside the planet ship, Commander Hale stood before a giant display of the galaxy. Red markers showed systems already lost. But the Voidborn hadn't reached the core worlds yet. Earth still had time. "Deploy long-range cannons," Hale ordered. "Begin outer sweep. Fire on anything that moves inside the breach zone." Above Earth's surface, colossal cannons locked into position and fired beams of light so bright they split the darkness. Each shot crossed light years in seconds, striking targets deep within the edge of the storm. The first impact was silent. Then came the roar. The storm twisted, curled inward. From the shadows came shapes, massive, clawed, without form or mass. The Voidborn had noticed. They began to move toward Earth. Hale narrowed his eyes. Let them come. Drones awoke by the millions. They burst from hidden silos across the planet's surface, forming massive waves of defense ships. They flew in perfect sync, protecting Earth's hull like a swarm of metal guardians. The battle began. The Voidborn struck first. Blades of energy, waves of gravity distortion. Whole drones melted in seconds. But Earth responded with precision. Beam weapons carved through the black shapes. Sonic disruptors shattered their forms. The storm shrieked, and the stars around dimmed. But Earth did not fall. The Empire watched, from afar. On their screens, a war unlike anything in known history unfolded. A planet defending itself like a living fortress. A single human commander leading the charge from the heart of his ancient homeworld. And then, something happened. Hale stepped onto the core platform. "Initiate final protocol," he commanded. The AI hesitated. "Warning, final protocol will burn core reserves. Earth will go silent again." "I understand," Hale said. "This is why we were built." The AI confirmed. Protocol confirmed. Firing main core. From the heart of Earth, light exploded. A giant beam, brighter than any sun, launched from Earth's southern pole. It passed through the largest mass of Voidborn, and in one moment, they were gone. Erased. The storm cracked. The silence returned. Earth had won. Later, Earth slowed near the edge of known space. Its engines cooled. Its glow faded. Inside, Hale stepped back into the chamber. His body was worn. His voice was soft. "Deactivate systems. Return to sleep." The AI responded. "Earth will rest, awaiting next threat." The lights dimmed. The drones returned. The weapons locked. Earth began drifting again, silent, still, and hidden. Far away, on the silent wing, Captain Relan recorded one final log. They found Earth. They thought it was a relic. But it was a warrior. A guardian. Built by a race no longer afraid of the dark, he paused. Now we know. If the galaxy ever falls into shadow, Earth will rise again.